because I expect that not many people will attend today. So let me record this part for you. Here are just final tips that you need to consider in IELTS and specifically in writing. These are the band descriptors. It's a summary of the band descriptors. When you write an essay, you are evaluated based on 4 criteria: task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. In task response, you should make sure you address all parts of the task, you show your opinion clearly, you develop ideas, explain and support them, use examples to help the reader understand. In coherence and cohesion, you need to make sure that you order the essay logically. You link the sentences and paragraphs together with cohesive devices. You write about one idea or one topic only in each body paragraph. This is very important. And of course, you need to stay focused. When it comes to the lexical resources, you need to show a wide range of vocab. You need to be precise in language. So it's not about how complicated your vocabulary is, but it's about how accurate, how right, that you use it correctly. You need to use some less common words and phrases and to show the correct collocations and to aim for accurate spelling and word formation. By word formation, we mean that when you should use an adjective, you should use the adjective, not the verb, not the noun, and so on. Finally, the grammatical range and accuracy, these are 2 different things. Range means a range of grammar: simple, compound, complex, compound, complex. Don't make too many grammatical mistakes. This is accuracy. Use punctuation correctly. This is also accuracy. Okay, so these are very important points that you need to consider while you are writing an essay. When we talk about vocabulary, when we talk about less common, and when we talk about how precise you should be, you need to understand that there are levels of vocabulary. For example, if you read the first short paragraph here and the second short paragraph here, I want you in 1 minute to read both paragraphs, paragraph A and paragraph B. They are very short and they tell almost the same thing. I just want you to tell me in which paragraph you feel there is a good range of vocabulary and there is more precision, more accuracy when it comes to vocabulary. Although both paragraphs are perfectly good and the grammar is good, the choice of vocabulary is correct, but one of them is better. Just in 1 minute, read them silently and tell me in the chat, which one do you feel is better? Is it A or B? Okay, so Mr. Osama and Ms. Minna said paragraph A, and Ms. Amira also paragraph A. That's correct. So let's read and see how are they different. Okay. In A, for example, you would see that first of all, the first line is the same in both. The changes become in the second line. Here we have staff. Here we have curators. Staff is not a wrong word, and you can actually use it, and it's perfectly correct. But curators is just more accurate. when we talk about museum staff. Like, for example, when you talk about staff and teachers at school, or educators at school, or medical staff, when you talk about doctors and nurses, when you get the exact words, then you are actually more accurate. Here, well cared for. This is just an expression that anybody can use, but well preserved is a high level vocab. Things. This is a word that you should avoid. It's not wrong, but it's vague. Vague means not clear. What things are you talking about? But when we say artifacts, clearly we're talking about things that exist in a museum. Again, here, interesting items and pictures, but here, enlightening exhibitions and gatherers. Not just items, not just pictures. We can find items and pictures at home, at school, at a hospital, but exhibitions and gatherers just exist in museums. This is the difference between a high-level vocab and low-level vocab. It's not high-level and low-level, but we call this topic-related vocabulary. So how can I get, how can I memorize, how can I use this topic-related vocabulary? This comes by a lot of reading in different domains. You remember once I sent you a book called Vocabulary Secrets that has essays about different topics in IELTS. You need to read a lot in such essays, and you need to get the vocabulary yourself and collect it in lists. So vocabulary related to medicine, vocabulary related to education, vocabulary related to tourism, to crime, and so on. This is something that you need to do yourself rather than just get a book or find a website that tells you so. Is this clear before we move on to something else? Does anybody have any question regarding this part? Okay. So, as I told you, you need to make lists for yourself like these ones here. Here, for example, a list about museums, curator, curate, artifacts, well-preserved, exhibition, exhibit, gallery, collect, collection, archive, and so on. Schools, teacher, student, teacher-student ratio, class, classroom, head teacher, star pupil, attend, attendance, cram for an exam, which means study very hard at the last moment. Public health, obesity, health-related issues, sports facilities, healthcare system, spread of viruses, threats to health, healthy choice. These are collocations that you will always come across when you read a lot, when you read more and more. It would be a great idea if you make lists like these ones. This will help you a lot, both in writing and speaking, inshallah. The same would apply for using verbs. Okay, a lot of people, for example, use the words say, the words show, especially in the academic writing, task 1. However, there are different alternatives that you can use. So, for example, you might use the word outline, which means summarizes, demonstrate, which means show, conclude, which means prove or also show, okay, seem to support, okay, instead of saying, for example, available literature shows the view that one acquires a second language, it could be seem to support the view that one acquires a second language. So again, by learning more vocabulary, you will have variety of expressions that you can use instead of just using 1 or 2 words all the time. Finally, it's important to understand collocations. I talked about collocations in the first lecture in this course, and I'm emphasizing the importance of collocations. And again, you learn more collocations when you read more and more. Reading is very important. And like you yourself collecting you or making your own vocabulary list is also extremely important. So collocations help you write correctly, because if you only memorize words in isolation, you will have problems mixing these words, because you will depend on the translation from your own language, which is not always accurate. Like, for example, when I ask you, what is the correct collocation? If you want to say that somebody had a tattoo, which expression would you use? Make a tattoo or get a tattoo? What do you think? You know, the tattoo is like a drawing that is made on the body. Okay. Yeah, it's get. Although in Arabic, if you're gonna translate it, it's gonna be make a tattoo. احنا في العربي نقول ايه؟ واحد عمل تاتو، عمل فاسهل حاجه make. فلو احنا ترجمناها بالشكل ده كده، طبعا ده هيدينا wrong collocation in English، لان في الانجليش مش بيقولوا make a tattoo، بيقولوا to get a tattoo، to have a tattoo made for you. اوكي. فدي حاجات مش بتيجي بمجرد ان انا بحفظ كلمات، لا انا لازم ابقى عارف الكولوكيشنز. Which word comes with which word, which noun comes with which verb, which adjective can be used with these nouns, and so on. Collocations also show whether you have a strong or weak command of language. Again, just like when we read the first short paragraphs and we decided that the first one was stronger, here it's the opposite. Here we have paragraph B is stronger than paragraph A. Why? Because paragraph B has a lot of accurate collocations. Like what? Like pressing problems, public transports, extortionate ticket prices, required to pay, lack of competition, public transport industry, monopoly over something, and so on. When you read the first paragraph, you get the same meaning, but you don't have these collocations. For example, here you have heavy problems. There is nothing in English called heavy problems. This is wrong. Again, this is a translation from Arabic to English. Okay. Expensive prices of tickets. That's correct. But extortionate ticket prices is a more complicated and more high-level vocabulary, more advanced vocabulary. When you talk about, for example, absence of competition, no, lack is more formal and more accurate. Lack of competition. This is what we're talking about. Collocations. How you get them, how you learn them, by reading a lot. Okay, so these were tips on vocabulary. Now we're going to move on some few tips on grammar. And specifically, we're going to talk about punctuation over the coming few minutes. First of all, I'm not going to explain everything about punctuation now. I'm just going to shed light on some few points. So this is not everything about capitalization. You can go to capitalization in the recorded session about punctuation, which I shared with you at the beginning of the course. But here, these are just few tips. I'm going to talk about when to capitalize words like hospital, like university, like school, like street. Sometimes these words are capitalized, sometimes they are not. If they are used generally, they are not capitalized. If you say, for example, I went to hospital, the H should be small. School is closed tomorrow. This is, again, a small s for school. When you say, for example, my house is close to the university, the U in university should be small, not capital. When should it be capitalized? When it comes with the name of the institution. So you have the name of the school, the name of the university, or the name of the hospital. Only in this case, you should capitalize them. So when you say university alone, it's a small u. But when you say Oxford University, Cairo University, Alexandria University, then the U should be capitalized because now it's part of the name of the university itself. But here you will see Oxford because it's the name of the city is capitalized, but the U here is small. Why is the U small? Who can tell me why is the U here small?
عشان ما جاتش مع اسم الجامعة.
Exactly. I'm just checking that you're following. Up, it's Oxford University. Down, it's the university there. Did I mention the name of the university?
No.
No. And this is why it should be a small u. Again, the government. The word government is normally small, except if it comes with the name of the country, like the Egyptian government, the UK government, the American government. Only in this case, it should be capitalized. This is just one small tip on capitalization. Commas. Commas are very commonly used in English. Here are like the most common places where you can use a comma. Please be focused on this part. One, use a comma after a dependent clause that starts a sentence. What? A dependent clause? Does it ring a bell for you? Who remembers what a dependent clause is? Who can tell us? ها فاكرين ولا ناسين؟
A sentence contain a subject and verb and complete thought.
لا ده الاندبندنت يعني خلاص you're very close.
Yes, independent.
What is a dependent clause? Dependent.
Dependent clause is
Stay alone.
not can't stay alone.
Cannot stand alone. Why? Is it because it doesn't have a subject?
مفيش complete thought.
أيوة. It has a subject, it has a verb, it doesn't have a complete thought, most probably because it starts with what?
linking words.
أيوة اللي هي اسمها إيه بقى؟
Preposition.
لا.
Conjunctions.
ها
اللي هم ال if وال y.
أيوة صح.
Subordinate.
اسمهم إيه؟
Subordinate.
أيوة subordinating conjunctions اللي هم after, before, while, when, because, if, though. فاكرينهم؟ تمام؟ ففي الحالة ديت لو أي sentence هي طبعا هتبقى complex sentence بتبدأ بالconjunction في الأول، بتبدأ بالdependent clause، لازم يبقى عندي في النص إيه؟ comma between the two clauses. So for example, after we studied the lesson, comma, we went to the movies. عندي هنا two clauses اهم كوما ما بينهم. ليه؟ لأن الكلاوز الأولاني بيبدأ بأفتر. الكلاوز الأولاني ده dependent clause أو subordinate clause. طيب الاستخدام الثاني للكوماز use a comma before any coordinating conjunction. حد فاكر ال coordinating conjunctions؟ كان ليهم اسم برضو كده عندنا، اسمهم إيه؟
And boys.
Excellent. أيوه fan boys اللي هم إيه؟
For and nor by.
أي but.
Or,
ها.
but or yet so.
Yet so. الفان boys they always come in the middle. Make a compound sentence. And they must be preceded by a comma. Like this one here. The government must give doctors a higher salary, comma, and they must also provide quality facilities. تمام؟ الاستخدام الثالث للكوما. Use commas to separate items in a list. If you are making a list, use a comma instead of and. Teachers have to prepare classes, mark homework, and attend many meetings. عندي هنا التيتشرز بيعملوا كام حاجة؟ 3. 1 2 3. فصلناهم بإيه؟ كوما كوما and وهكذا. تمام؟ أخيرا comma is used after The comma is used after introductory cohesive devices. لما أقول مثلا however, to begin with, finally, as a consequence, for example, اللي هم بنسميهم كمان ال conjunctive adverbs. When they come, they are followed by a comma. دي كده أهم استخدامات الكوما. دي مش كل استخدامات الكوما، بس دي كده أهم استخدامات الكوما. دوركم بقى. عندنا هنا 11 punctuation errors. ال 11 errors دول قد يكونوا capitalization، وقد يكونوا commas، قد تكون full stop، ممكن يكون في spelling وهكذا. انتوا دلوقتي 6. هقسمكم 2 groups. انا مش بعمل groups كتير، بس ده محتاج groups. Every group will discuss together. تفتحوا الميكروفونز. تمام؟ هديلكم كده 5 minutes تقروا الباراجراف. نحاول نطلع ال 11 ميستيك. غالبا مش هنعرف نطلع ال 11، مفيش مشكله. بس لو طلعنا 9 I'll be very happy. لو جبت 9 مظبوطين يعني. انا I'll pause the recording. طيب مين يبدأ يقرا معايا كده اول سنتنس؟ ميس منى، بما ان انت اول واحده اتكلمتي.
تمام.
يلا اول سنتنس كده اقري بس السنتنس على بعضها.
One of the main causes of the problem is that cities are often overpopulated, which can result in a lower quality of life.
بس كده. طيب طلعتوا اي حاجه في السنتنس دي مع الجروب بتاعك؟
أول حاجة في أول sentence بعد the problem مفيش كوما.
ممتاز، كويس جدا ان انتوا عرفتوا توصلوا للغلطه دي. طب حد يقدر يقول لي ليه ما فيش كوما هنا؟
دي تكملة
ايوه تكمله ايه؟
السنتنس subject and verb. problem
الله ينور
is.
عليك. خدوا بقى دي قاعده عامه كده. انا عندي subject وعندي verb، تمام؟ ما ادخلش ما بينهم حاجه. يعني ايه؟ يعني ما ينفعش اقول احمد لايكس فتيجي انت بعد احمد تحط لي كوما. احمد كوما لايكس. دي زيها بالظبط كده. مفيش حاجه في الانجليش اسمها ان انا اجيب بين السبجكت والفيرب كوما، الا في حاله واحده بس، ان بين السبجكت والفيرب في تو كوماز وما بينهم فريز. دي بنسميها parenthetical phrase اللي هي جمله اعتراضيه. دي حاجه ثانيه خالص. تمام؟ يبقى ادي كده اول غلطه فعلا. طيب نكمل مس منى. ايه تاني؟
many people move from the countryside to cities.
لا انا قصدي السنتنس الاولى طلعت فيها حاجه ثانيه.
ثانيه واحده. لا احنا طلعنا في اللي بعد كده بقى.
طيب الجروب الثاني طلع حاجه ثانيه في السنتنس دي.
احنا كنا شاكين في حكايه a lower quality، يعني هي المفروض ما تحطش ايه ولا لا؟
لا نحطها عادي، لان دي كلمه كواليتي، في كواليتي وفي كواليتيز، فعادي دي كاونتبل عادي خالص. وبعدين دي مش punctuation، دي جرامر كده. طيب في غلطه واضح ما حدش جابها خالص. فاكرين اخر حاجه قلناها في الريلاتيف clauses لما يجي relative clause to comment on a whole sentence which can result in a lower quality of life. What does which refer to? هل which بتعود على كلمة overpopulated؟
تعود على problem.
لا مش على البروبلم. مش البروبلم هي اللي بتسبب اللور كواليتي اوف لايف. السيتويشن of cities being overpopulated, this what can result in a lower quality of life. فعادة زي ما اتفقنا ان which وهو whom والكلام ده بيريفير لone noun في الايه؟ في السنتنس. انما لما بتبقى بتcomment on a whole situation زي الجملة اللي قدامنا دي، يبقى في الحالة دي لازم احط هنا ايه؟ كوما. وفي الحالة دي بتبقى non defining. تمام. طيب نكمل. الاول فاكرين دي ولا لا؟
يعني احنا هنعمل ايه مستر؟ هنحط كوما؟
نحط كوما قبل which.
مم.
ليه؟ امتى ما احطش الكوما قبل which؟ لو اللي قبل which دي، لو which دي بتعود على الكلمه اللي قبلها على طول. مش انتوا فاكرين في الستبس اللي كنا بنعملها اخر ستيب خالص اقول لك ايه؟ ال insert the whole new clause after the word it modifies. كانت دي ستيب نمبر 4.
مم.
طب فين the word it modifies اصلا هنا؟ مفيش. يعني which هنا اقول لك تعود على ايه في الجمله؟ ما هي ما تعودش على كلمه واحده، هي بتعود على المعنى. ان cities are often overpopulated. ده على بعضه كده can result in a lower quality of life. في الحاله دي قولا واحدا لازم كوم قبل which. ماشي. وارجعوا برضو للتسجيل بتاع الايه؟ بتاع المحاضره دي اللي انا بعته. اوكي. طيب حد تاني كده يكمل معايا
اقرا.
مستر
مال
اسامه جو اهيد. سنتنس ثاني.
Many people move from the countryside to cities because of their abundance of university and job prospects.
تمام.
دي فيها كتير.
حلو.
Many people move from the countryside. نشيل ذا، مفيش ذا.
طيب انا هعلق عليها بعدين بس ماشي كمل.
تمام. to cities.
ايوه.
cities مفيش apostrophe اس. cities دي بلورال جمع.
ايوه الله ينور. ده سبيلنج ميستيك او هو سبيلنج يعني سببه الجرامر اصلا. بس
تمام.
دي سيتس تبقى كده.
تمام.
هتبقى اي اس كمان.
بالظبط
تمام.
كده.
because of their abundance of universities. اليو ما تبقاش كابيتال.
صح اهو.
اه
كده تمام. فاضل ايه؟
and job prospects برضه ما فيش apostrophe اس.
ما فيش ابوستروفي هنا، دي اصلا ايه؟ تي اس على طول.
ايوه.
حلو كده. الحاجه الوحيده اللي هختلف مع الجروب بتاع حضرتك فيها the countryside. ماشي.
تمام.
the countryside او the country بالذات، لازم بالذات، معناها الريف. تاني.
مم.
countryside لما اقول people move from the countryside او people move from the country مش معناها البلد، معناها هنا الايه؟ الارياف. عشان كده هو بيقول لك ايه؟ they move from the countryside to cities.
مم.
اللي هو من الريف الى المدن.
انا كنت كاتبها مره كده في السي مستر محمد جمال شالها لي، قال لي لا
لا
تبقى from countryside على طول.
لا مستحيل. طب يعني راجعوا فيها.
ارجع لها تاني، ارجع للاسي تاني وبعدين
تمام.
ارجع له تاني.
تمام
تمام.
وراجعوا
تمام.
فيها لان دي معروفه
تمام.
جدا، دي لازم
اه
الذات. تمام.
تمام.
طيب كده كام مستيك لحد دلوقتي؟ 5. لسه
واحد.
6. لسه 6. طيب ناخد ميس منى او ميس اماني. حد يقرا الجمله الثالثه كده؟
As a consequence, the level of population rises due to the higher frequency of cars on the route.
حلو قوي.
I think المفروض نحط كوما قبل as عشان دي subordinating conjunctions.
طيب بص يا امين. as a consequence دي على بعضها بنسميها ايه؟ حد فاكر؟
collocation.
لا. زيها زي however وزي therefore وزي in
adverb
addition.
conjunction.
conjunctive adverb، ايوه كده على بعضها. طب الكونجنكتيف adverb ده كان وضع البنكتويشن فيه ايه؟ لازم
بعد
ها
بعد الكونسيكونس.
ايوه هنا احط ايه؟ كوما. لازم كوما، زي however لازم بعديها كوما، زي therefore لازم بعديها كوما، moreover لازم بعديها كوما، وهكذا. تمام؟ فاذا ده مش subordinating ده اسمه conjunctive adverb. كده ده خلصنا منه كده. نكمل بقى، كملي كده. the level.
The level of pollution rises due to the higher frequency of cars on the road.
طلعتوا حاجة في الجزء ده؟
هو احنا طلعنا حاجة في الجزء ده عشان مش فاكرة.
بص هو كان تو المفروض نكتبها كابيتال
اللي هي ايه؟
تو تاكل.
لا احنا بنتكلم
ده
عن
في السنتنس اللي بعدها، ماشي. انا قصدي في
اه
السنتنس اللي قبلها.
ما اظنش طلعنا حاجة في الجزء
مفيش
ده.
ده
حاجة،
بس
هو
كنا
اصلا كده
مطلعين
مفيش حاجة.
كنا بس مطلعين الكلمة ديت بس.
احنا لحد هنا كده 6. طيب مين اللي قال بقى تو كابيتال؟ عشان مش شايف.
أميرة.
طيب مس أميرة، اقرا لنا بقى السنتنس اللي بعدها. to tackle this problem.
To tackle this problem, the government should aim to stimulate the economy outside of the cities.
حلو.
مهم.
انت قلتي ان هنا الايه؟
التي كابيتال
طبعا.
أصل الفلسطين.
ها
والجفرمنت المفروض تبقى سمول عشان ما
صح
ذكرناش.
صح.
مهم.
ايه كمان؟ فاضل غلطة.
مستر احمد.
ايوه.
خلاص عشان الجروب التاني.
ها
طب بين رود وتو مش المفروض نشيل الفلسطين؟
ليه؟ دي جملة ودي جملة.
انا افتكرت ان احنا بنكمل الجملة بتو.
لا، ما يعني هو بيقول لك هنا عشان نقلل الفريكونسي اللي هو النمبر يعني اوف كارز اون ذا رود، فول ستوب. وبعد كده بيقول لي بقى ايه؟ to tackle this problem، عشان احل المشكله دي كده بدايه جمله مختلفه. لسه في غلطه.
government المفروض هتفضل زي ما هي
عملناها سمول. لا،
نشيل.
سمول مش كابيتال، لان انا ما حددتش اي government هنا.
نحط the cities.
لا بصوا برضو دي ما حدش فيكم جابها.
ما
بعد
فيش
كلمه
بعد
problem.
this.
لا، بعد problem لازم كوما.
مم.
زي as a
ليه؟
consequence to tackle this problem.
آه.
اللي هيجي بعدها دي جمله كامله. The government should aim to stimulate the economy outside of cities. مش دي جمله كامله؟ صح؟
تمام.
امال ايه بقى الجزء اللي فات ده؟ هل ده بدايه الجمله؟ لا، ده مش بدايه الجمله. دي بنسميها introductory phrase. يعني ايه introductory phrase؟ زي كده ايه، جمله introductory، يعني بتعمل زي مقدمه، بتقدم الموضوع. زي لما اقول in addition، زي ما اقول as a consequence، زي ما اقول as a result. كل ال introductory phrases اللي زي كده بيجي بعديها كوما. كانت موجودة فين دي؟ كانت موجودة هنا اهي. زي for example to begin with، finally، as a consequence. شايفين هنا كل الايه الانترودكتوري phrases او cohesive devices دي كلها بيجي بعديها كوما. طيب الجملة الأخيرة بقى. The result of this would be a huge improvement in people's quality of life. إيه الأخطاء اللي طلعتوها هنا؟
البيبل
people.
المفروض من غير اس.
لا،
كوما
بإس.
الكوما
أيوه،
تتشال.
apostrophe. people's quality اللي هي البوزيسيف. زي أحمد سكار، هي people's quality. فكده apostrophe اس. إيه كمان؟ الكوما
الكوما
تتشال.
the result
بتاعت
of this.
نفس اللي فوق بالظبط، نفس الكيس. إن the result of this the subject would be the verb. فما ينفعش احط كوما بين السبجكت والايه
والفيرب.
والفيرب. ماشي يا جماعه؟ مش عارف، ضربت مني. anyway دي الانسرز، لو حد ياخدها سكرين شوت هو معلم يعني على الايه؟ على الاخطاء بالظبط. تمام. يعني this is almost the end of this part. Let me stop the recording and just listen to your questions إن شاء الله.